This is very important if you're going to buy a property in Mexico. So if you're going to buy a property in Mexico and you have to transfer money from your US, Canadian, Australian, whatever bank, ask your real estate agent to put together what I would call a Ricky decoder ring. Because what's going to happen, and what I see happening all the time, is they're going to give you a sheet of paper. They're going to say, okay, you're buying this property, here you go. They're going to email it to you, WhatsApp it to you, whatever. But they're going to give you the information for the Mexican bank. It's okay, here's all the information for the Mexican bank, which is what they need on the Mexico side. So you're going to go to your bank and you're going to see some things on their information that aren't going to make any sense. And you're going to probably screw it up, or your bank's going to screw it up. Things like the United States and Canadian banks, and I think the Australian and most of the European banks are the same. They need to know the account number, they need to know the SWIFT code, they need to know the address of the recipient, they need to know the address of the bank. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much the top things that they need to know. In Mexico, they're going to give you the clave, they're going to give you a routing probably, they're going to give you a SWIFT, they're going to give you an account number. So you have 4 numbers, and you're really looking for 2 numbers. And so you can get very confusing on which numbers go where. You put the wrong one in the wrong spot, and boom, your wire transfer gets held up and you lose a couple weeks of transfer. So that's number 1. Number 2 thing to know when you're sending money from the United States, well, this is even before you're sending money. So when you buy property in Mexico, you can buy property in US dollars, or you can buy property in Mexican pesos. I want to reference my friend George Revis from MexEdge for this information because I think it's extremely helpful. So when you buy a property in Mexico, you always want to negotiate your dollars or the price in Mexican pesos. If you negotiate your price in dollars, then wherever you're sending that money is going to receive those dollars, but they're going to pay a fee on receiving those dollars, and they're going to put a variable in there to protect the inflation rate. So when you make the deal, they don't know if the US dollar is going to get stronger or weaker, and their bank is going to charge them money for that conversion. So they're going to put that conversion money on top of the price, and they're going to put another variable on top of that price, which is going to be another 5 or 10% to try to cover any risk on their side in inflation. So if you cover the price in pesos, you can negotiate those 2 costs out of the price, so you get a lower price, sometimes 10-15% lower, and then you can use a product called MexEdge to send the money, and you can literally lock in whatever that peso to dollar exchange rate is for a full year. Essentially, if the exchange rate's 19, you can lock in 19 at the time of sale, so you know exactly what that is in dollars. There's no downward risk, there's no upward risk. You've locked all of that out, and you're getting the best price possible. So those are the 2 things: negotiate in pesos for your property, and ask your real estate agent for a Ricky decoder ring, and put the onus on them to tell you all the information on sending the money over. So again, the name of the bank, the address of the bank, name of the recipient, address of the recipient, the account number, not the clave, and the SWIFT code. Those are the pieces of information you need. Get that information from your real estate agent before you go to the bank, and there should be no mistakes. All right? If you have questions, please reach out. I'd love to help you.